first day. They explained their part, and that was a good conversation. The second day, the minority House, minority Senate leaders were there. And then Aaron Burst kind of moderated some of it that second day, and one of the things that came up was what you mentioned yesterday. 1/3 about of the state budget, which is $6 billion or whatever, just got people really nervous.
They should be nervous.
Because old Muskrat might be looking at that. And then we're in a problem.
Neil's going to put that in the paper.
Jeez, Neil, don't quote me.
I love it anyway.
Did you ever make a phone call?
I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, probably, but that's a reality, you guys. That's a reality what they're worried about. And we should be worried about it too. Let's see, what else was it?
Well, you had mentioned about Armstrong having a good rapport with which Burgum didn't.
He gave his talk, I was impressed. Actually, Aaron Burst mentioned that one day a week he'll bring in the minority leaders and visit with them, and another day he'll bring in the majority leaders, and he's trying to get everybody to work together, which that is a major plus in my book, because I haven't heard of that happening very often before.
There was a big disconnect between Burgum and the legislature.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and that was another thing that came out, maybe it was at the roundtable deal afterwards, but a lot of these guys really like working with the new governor versus the old governor.
Well, and he's a former legislator, so he understands the process.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Other than that, it was very, very good. Like every one of those meetings, you know, when you sit around afterwards, you learn a lot more sometimes.
Right. Well, and they talked a little bit too about, we learned this from other guys, that it's really within the legislature, there again, mostly Republican, but it's more of a city versus rural. It's more of a east versus west.
Oh, yeah.
People in Fargo and Grand Forks think western North Dakota is everything west of Castleton. You know, and that's not all bad, but not everybody thinks the same.
When we were visiting, one of the comments, I think, Stan, you made it, was everybody thinks people down at the Capitol, they all get along and they do this and do that. They don't all get along.
No, I mentioned that when you were battling.
They have some real battles against themselves, whether they're all Republicans or Democrats or whatever. They do some battles.
So do you think it's coming from their constituents, or it's just personal battle between people? You follow what I'm trying to say?
Well, it should come there from their
Should be
constituents,
but I think some of them just vote that way because that's the way they think.
Okay, so you sat around with a number of people who hold the same positions as you do. Based on the list that you generated that I sent to our 3 legislators, which included things like the gas tax, that's getting addressed. Okay, whether they pass it or not remains to be seen, but more funding for political subs. You know, talk a little bit about the conversations maybe you had with those around you in terms of what your needs are. Are they pretty much the same as everybody else, or?
Yeah, rural bridges, rural roads. I mean, that was similar.
We get Stan's buddy from Linton to give us a guest speech.
Yeah, right. I'm still laughing at that.
He's pretty animated, but it was good stuff.
Yeah, pretty much the same.
It is. You know, really, in our central part of the state here, our concerns are pretty much all the same. The big battle is the eastern and the western. We're in a no man's land kind of here in a minute.
What I did bring up and got shot down by Jerry, and of course this isn't a broad range of having annual sessions. I said, you're going to struggle with a 2-year budget. How can you do that? I said, have an annual session. And mind you, right away it's cost. Don't have it 80 days. Have it 40. 40 days once a year. Well, we'd never get over all the bills. You wouldn't have that many bills if you had it every year. They weren't receptive to that at all. However, there's a bill in, and did it pass? one session, or one,
It did pass the one session, yeah.
or the one chamber?
I think it passed in the Senate, right?
I
I
don't know.
can't remember, but yeah. But I was surprised that too, we were standing there, and they were against that.
Yeah,
And especially when you consider term limits, you'd think they'd want to get that much more done.
you know, in a biennial like this, and you're only in 8 years, you're only in the legislature 4 times.
4 times.
The first time you're green and don't do anything, so that only leaves you 3 sessions to really have an impact on what you're doing. You know, so yeah, I was surprised at that.
So unless you guys can think of some other questions,
that's all I
I
got.
guess that's basically in a nutshell.
I think some of the reason they don't want to go every year is I was reading one thing, some of the people are very against that because they take time off to come every other year, and some is something with their businesses and stuff like that, and I listened to that and I'm going, well, if you're not any more dedicated than this,
Well,
why are you here?
Or secondly, you think every year would be easier,
That
because
was
it'll
what
be
I
half
think.
the time.
for sure
Right.
about that.
I think the fear is it'll increase the cost of government, because now it'll be every year for 80 days.
Well, what Brian said is kind of legitimate though, because someone talked to, they do have regular jobs.
See, they get time off to do this.
Right, right,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and there's a lot of things, different directions.
So I think that's gonna be an annual deal down there, and
Right.
I'm really impressed if you guys got time to go to it.
Yeah, it was good.
You learn a whole lot.
Yeah, if we wouldn't have had the new
Yeah,
one, they would've
I
came.
understand, it's just, yeah.
Casey and Courtney had.
So let's back up to the Billadu Township Bridge replacement. Did we
It
have
just goes on and on and on.
You heard from the water board that they can't do anything with that, so.
Yeah.
We'll end up paying for the culvert and they'll do the dirt work,
I think that's what it comes down to, you guys.
right?
That's what I think, it's gotta be done, right?
Yeah.
It's-
Yeah,
And it's on a major water system there that
it's on the pipes now.
moves a lot of water,
It
so.
is, yeah.
What's the culvert gonna cost us?
It's be about a $50,000-$60,000 bill for us.
Okay, so if we waited and tried to get a bridge and we had a cost share, would it be any different?
It'd be a triple that, and it'd be 3 years from now.
Right, so
I'm
I mean,
being
I'm just
sarcastic,
saying,
We just as well pay it and be done with it.
fix the game and,
I think
Right.
that deal where it's just culverts, let's take care of that. Our bridges that new, that's what we have. to
Yeah,
look
that's
at.
where we gotta focus on.
Right,
right.
State money.
Do we gotta give them a timeline though? Does it gotta get done here?
Because according to Brent, this has been hanging here for 3 years.
At least.
That's what I understand.
At least.
The first time.
So, I guess, you know, Mr. Richter was in here about that. What we should do is come to consensus here, and then we should let them.
Okay, we talked to that gal about the flex money there yesterday.
yeah.
We went and sat and talked to her, and he was gonna talk to her.
Oh,
That lady that had the baby?
Yeah.
I don't remember her name.
she's in charge of this
Yeah.
flex
But
fund.
we
Right.
could wait for a week,
Yeah, oh yeah,
and if Dave Richter, she said she would help him try to get some
Right.
flex money for that.
Okay.
excellent. You know what,
But
yeah, we talked about, we should target some projects that we should apply for anyway, for that
She
flex.
said-
Right, we should never give
Willing
up.
to work.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she was good.
Was there any further discussion? I asked her the question. I didn't really feel like I got a clear answer. Do you have to do it 18 mills?
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yes,
That
you
gives
do.
That gives you 15 townships, and I'm gonna bet you, as sure as I'm sitting here, they ain't at 15, knowing that.
He-
they are at
You mean
18.
Billadu isn't?
I
Take
doubt it.
them out of the consideration.
I'll ask Dave Richter.
I
Well,
would-
they gotta
I
have the
would
meeting
bet
come
you-
up, they can change it.
yeah,
They
Yeah,
can,
they
yeah,
can change it, it's a month.
he's in- I got him in my phone, he'll,
Yeah, do that, and then they probably got a chance to get that flex money.
he
Right.
He wanted me to call him, I guess, after the meeting too. And
Like
give him an
who?
update. Dave.
Yes.
wanted you to call who?
Him.
Dave wanted Brian to call.
He talked to me yesterday.
Oh, yeah, about.
So you ask him then, if he
Yeah.
says.
If they're at
18
18 mills for this flex money.
So, I mean, if they can get that, good, and get the flex, but if not, we got them backed up, right?
I
To
guess, yeah.
do the culverts. Just so
Well,
they know.
let's put it on hold, because he's not gonna work real hard at trying to get this if he knows he's gonna get some money.
True, and we do have new policy.
Well, but he does know it needs to get done.
Yeah, he's gotta have a time limit, otherwise a new policy kicks in, if you wanna say it that way.
Right, well, we're gonna do it.
I know that, but the incentive,
It's just,
See if they're at 18 mills.
and
Or
see
not,
what,
because it
what the
won't
time
work if
frame
the flex
is as
money
far
won't
as
work if you're not.
this flex money.
If we don't get it a bunch of snow. it might be
He can look,
February,
he'll know in an answer in a minute.
Summer to get this done.
Right, it is.
did
The
we
way
ever
it's
get
looking
any,
at the
Dan will be
moment.
able to answer that question right now.
did we ever get any engineers' thoughts on the bridge north of town?
They're working on it.
Nothing back yet to us.
I did hear something that was interesting. That is a bridge on top of an old bridge,
Yeah, they widened it out.
but there's an old bridge underneath it. They went right over the top of it. Now, the only thing that's really bugging that bridge is when that water comes around the swirl. What would happen if we filled that in, shored that bridge up and
Cut a straight channel.
no, if we rip-wrap that, so that when the water hits it, it doesn't tear the road out no more. If you put a bunch of rock in there, it's just gonna turn and go.
But they talked earlier that.
I know that. I know what you're talking about.
Channel.
Didn't they talk about earlier?
Making it
that
straight.
Straightening
Yeah,
that
straight
channel out?
Right. But what I'm getting at though is there any way we can save that bridge if we did that?
I doubt it because doggone bridge inspector.
Them inspectors,
I
I don't
think
think
the
so.
structure of the bridge itself is,
Is that what our engineer's looking at?
no, that's what
No,
the inspectors looked
The
at.
bridge inspectors
No, I
two
mean,
flagged it.
Two things have to happen there, from my understanding. A, the bridge has to be replaced, and B, that channel has to be straightened.
Right.
Otherwise, we'll have a problem.
Down the
all
road.
5 years
With the new one.
down the road. I am impressed. They're not at 18, but they are at 1737. So they're not far away.
Oh,
from-
I would
Well,
have
that
guessed
won't
that.
take long.
Why wouldn't you be at 18 or why?
Why,
Oh, they,
it's where they are. So they're not one of the 15 that are at 18, but they're not far away from it.
So they could correct that in a hurry.
Well, they can't until next tax season.
Oh.
Can't change the current, so. But, so, and when I send that stuff out there, I mean, they knew a year ago that it would be advisable to be at 18, especially if you're that close. and you
Gee,
choose
that
not to,
close.
So,
$50. What's a half a mil in a township? Not very
People
much.
don't read stuff. What do we got left? Okay, so we're gonna put that on hold then for now?
Yeah, it ain't gonna hurt to wait another month to actually have a
Well,
formal
see what your
motion.
discussion.
Yeah,
brings
see what,
up.
tell them the consensus is that we'll probably do it, but we wanna look at this avenue with flex funding
So
first.
let this, we'll work together with them, but if they can find funds, that'd be great.
Yeah. And if it can happen this year, get it
they'll
done.
never get a response to that before you meet again. No chance.
No.
They wouldn't, in fact,
Oh, no.
there won't be responses to that until late summer, I'm gonna guess, to the flex fund. That won't even be official until the new fiscal year of the state, which is August 1st. So,
Their flex funding is used up.
as far as I know, it's
Isn't it?
all used. We applied for it ourselves and didn't get any,
Right.
so.
There was somebody in Wells County that got something.
Yeah, we got two townships that got small projects, one over here and I wanna say Berlin, I think.
Yep.
Berlin and Bremen, I think, got some money.
Okay, so let's move on. We determined what's gonna happen with the fairground campsite, that's kind of their ballpark, right?
I would like to see that put in a motion, somehow, some way, to approve the use of the spaces, that part of it, and then are you gonna turn that over to the fair board? And if you are, I'd like to see it put in a motion, because if it just says we'll approve the use of the spaces, I think we're right back to shrugging our shoulders, all right, who's responsible for this?
Then they're gonna call you for a camping spot.
Yep, you're right, that's exactly what'll happen.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that as in regards to camp spots during the all-school reunion, that we turn it over to the fair board and they coordinate with the Pheasant School Reunion Board in regards to camping reservations.
Perfect.
I'll second that.
Boone seconds it. Now we got discussion. And the thing is, I'd impress on the fair board that this is a good little fundraiser for them.
Geez, they got a charge for that. Yes.
And,
Besides that, they can sell booze or the.
well, that's,
Well, they'll do that
Guys gotta
anyway.
go get their beer license.
no, I think Dennis
Or
will
did
check
it-
on that, but I think they got
Good to
for
go.
the beer gardens.
The beer gardens they got for year round.
Okay.
But that battle of the breweries, that's all gotta get figured out yet too.
I think-
Right.
Yeah, I think that.
Yeah, that's a minor.
Okay, so, any other discussion? Discussion was made, hearing no others, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay, fairground will take care of that. We did the township officers meeting. Wells County Fair activities, what's that now?
That's kinda what we
That
did.
was that battle of the breweries.
Okay.
piece.
They're done with that.
And I'm just gonna put in here that I will examine the license currently held and make sure it covers the event. And
Excellent.
I'll get back to you in April on that.
You know, yeah, and if it doesn't, then we'll just get a hold and they can be liable.
Thank you guys. Have a good day.
Okay, technology disposal, is that the used up laptops and stuff?
Yeah, I just had this question posed to me the other day about a employee laptop that will be recycled here. And normally if we are going to sell anything of value, it has to be put out on bids, okay? However, what about giving it, donating it, whatever, to another political subdivision?
Can we legally do that? That's okay?
Because we could just give it to NRG and they could destroy it. You know,
But if we have
Oh,
a
sure.
subdivision that can use it,
Well, right.
so we've got the ambulance district in town here that really needs a computer. Okay, well, we've got one that's gonna be 3 years old, or is 3 years old. Could you donate it?
Sure. We should be able to.
And you should be able to do that.
Yeah.
You're not profiting from it.
No, we should be able to do that.
So,
Sounds like a good idea.
We give COVID money away. We should be able to give an old computer away.
I wouldn't say it.
Right,
I mean,
right,
it's kind of the same principle.
exactly.
do we need a motion on that to do
I
it?
would like to have one.
I'll make a motion to give the computers to the health,
Well, to a subdivision.
to a subdivision in the county.
I'll second it.
Okay, Boone made the motion, John Miller second, discussion on it. I think anything, even some of our boards, even the Tweed board or whatever, if they could use that stuff, that'd be a great deal.
Yeah.
No, let them use it if it does us no good.
Right.
Right.
Any other discussion? Hearing no other discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Okay. What, are we down to the end?
That's about it.
April commission meeting is April 8th. Sixth county meeting is, what town is that in now?
Ashley.
Ashley?
It's the long trip. So I need a couple of things from you. I need topics, and then I need to know who is attending.
Let me, so I got smart, I started carrying my calendar along.
No.
I'm gonna try to go, but I'm gonna visit people afterwards on the way home, so I will drive myself with no cost to the county.
I will not be there. I'm gone next week.
Yeah, that's
It's my bank convention, so.
that's Tuesday, I think, I can go.
I might be able to.
March 9th,
You don't need to fish that day. Just go along.
Probably won't be able to fish. Ice will be shot.
Probably.
Will you make it, Brian, or not?
I probably can.
We're gonna leave early in the morning. And Actually,
Well, don't take all gravel roads like you did the one
we
time.
could,
when I wanted to get
we
lost.
could pick you up or meet over by the Lincoln Light or something,
Yeah.
because we're gonna go south.
Yeah, then you all drive on Highway 91
You just never mind.
71.
or 71. I think.
No, we're not driving 71. I'll go over and go down. We'll pick him up and go down the road past Morlocks rather than the damn highway. That pavement's horrible, boys.
Where do you go south the interstate at?
Wherever we wanna go.
Which is the best?
We will be lost.
Well, there's a county road that's not paved. Who knows that one?
You can get off on the streeter exit and end up there.
Oh, once I'm south on 94, that's tougher. There's
No,
20
let's
some
take-
miles of gravel down there we don't wanna go
Let's take a
on.
good road.
Yeah, I
We
agree.
will
We
go
went
south of
we went on it 4 years
Dawson.
ago.
Okay.
My
We'll go
ribs,
south of Dawson.
my ribs still hurt.
Oh, shut up. We'll go south of Dawson.
Topics.
Okay, number one is I think we need to tell them that we are no longer interested in joining a road,
Mutual agreements.
what do we call it?
Scale.
Lift scales.
Lift
Scales or truck regulatory. There we go.
Truck rate. That's the word I was looking for.
Right,
Thank you, buddy.
yeah. Well,
To contact legislatures for any other, this is the time now where they're gonna be voting on pertinent issues, and I'm assuming they'll have pertinent issues. One of them will be the gas tax, but the other ones will be property tax ones, and
They'll probably
encourage
have,
them to talk to, and I encourage all you guys too. You go to the North Dakota legislative website and traverse through there. Every legislature's email is there, where you just punch on it and send them, I'm in favor of this. Done. They all say that carries some clout.
let's just put down for agenda legislative bills, we can discuss whatever. What else?
I don't know what.
Do we need to ask them again what everybody charges for blading roads?
Wouldn't hurt.
Because
just to try to get an average,
because we're gonna be reviewing that.
Yeah, you can.
just to try to get an average out of it.
Yeah.
I give you the ones 4 miles, the 4 counties around here, but right down there. What I told a couple guys yesterday, we're not gonna get into the complex issue of charging per blading and per mile and have the maintainer guy write it down, and it's so much a year per, right? Yeah,
Keep
isn't
it
that- wasn't that the
as simple
consensus?
as possible,
Keep
so
it
that.
Right, but they should
Everybody.
carry maps to know which is the first and secondary roads.
Well, see, but that's what we'd have to review this
Because
because you're not doing all those, it's gonna be a different.
I understand that, but Benson County uses, blue would be all the,
But Benson County's got a complex, they charge by the mile to blade, right?
Per time.
Which,
I
we're
don't-
talking about 2 different things here.
yes, I don't know if it's the season, I call it the season, or every time they blade, they get paid.
All right, let's put that on agenda, let's see what some of the other ones. are.
Yes. We wanna learn how to do pay for the season of blading.
The whole year.
The whole what it consists of.
Yeah.
Because you got secondary roads and you got FSA roads. You got 3 different roads. You got minimum maintenance.
There really is no such thing as
There
an
is no
FSA road. in
Right,
Vermont.
that's
It's-
all
it-
terminology
it's-
people use.
If it's a gravel road.
Or township roads
if
and
it's-
FSA
and If
roads.
it's open 12 months of the year, that's what we're talking about.
Right.
And if you decide as a township, and I alluded to this in the letter, that you want to go some minimum maintenance or whatever, you suffer the ramifications of when things get funded
right.
by the mile, if you're
FEMA.
losing money.
Yep.
And
Right.
maybe that's an acceptable loss for you.
In fact, in Pierce now, they don't use minimum maintenance road anymore. They use no winter maintenance.
That's what I was looking for.
Because
Right.
there you still
Yeah.
fall under the FEMA
Yep.
jurisdiction, whereas minimum maintenance, FEMA's done. And I don't know if some people want that.
Well, and I don't know, I just asked him a few questions about this.
Right. No.
Well, here's what they're.
And we could talk to him about that down at this 6 county meeting.
But what's happening with some of our townships, they're looking to try and save some money.
Cut some roads.
Pay that $100 a season.
Yes.
We gotta remember one thing, when we decide who's gonna do what roads, and there's some, say, through roads, and if we can get that lined up, so that this township is willing to go this far, and the next, I mean, get it so that it doesn't stop here.
Right.
And you have a consensus of which roads are the ones that need the extra work.
You would think if Forward Township's got 21 that's busy, the next township to the east, which I don't know which is,
Yeah.
would also think
Right.
it's busy,
Right.
is what you're getting at.
Yeah.
And more important than that,
Try to get
those
fixed
township
19.
supervisors have to make sure the whole township's on board.
Right.
Because you
Right.
can't, the supervisors can't say, these roads here, but leave those go.
Right.
They gotta all be on the same page.
Otherwise, most of them get bladed in front of their house real often,
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
when they may not have to be.
And there's a road by the canal never gets handled, or never gets fixed. The one off of Highway 3, by the canal, that road that doesn't get fixed like it should, from Forward Township.
That first mile.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
That, on 19th Street, that
That's
that
all
needs to
washable.
get fixed.
I thought about saying that yesterday, but I thought, I'll really be the bad guy, that there comes a point where a road is so bad that a blade can't fix it.
Right,
We're gonna refuse to blade it. And,
Right.
you know, I gave you the two examples here before, and that's one of them. The other one would be east of Brent Roberts' place, the old dump ground road, which
Oh, yeah,
is so
yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
And then they blame the poor blade guy because it's rough. Well,
Yeah.
it's
But
rocks
you know
and,
what's happening is, then we're punishing the people. What we ought to do is make a policy that we'll fix the dang thing and charge them,
well, do that. We don't have jurisdiction to do that, though.
don't we?
as commissioners, we should.
Township has jurisdiction. We have zero
Yeah, you're right.
jurisdiction
You're
over
right.
township roads.
Right.
None.
I wonder though if we couldn't have it.
Well, I know, I mean,
That'd
you're
be an all over
I'll
place.
tell you what, boy,
Yeah.
if you put roadblocks up, block that road. You get
This,
some discussion.
this topic struck a nerve yesterday before the meeting began. And
Oh, yeah, listen
I
to
got
this
my-
one. Dan had
I got my
controversy before
dose
the
of-
meeting started.
being cussed at for 5 minutes or whatever, and it has to do with counties. There is a bill for this, and it's because of what's going on with the data center down by Ellendale.
Oh,
The
yeah.
townships were dragging their feet, and the county came in and took over the road. And now there's a bill saying that it's illegal for the county to do that, but it's not going over well, because you're taking authority away from the
That right there kicks my idea off.
Oh,
And so that,
that whole local control thing.
but yeah, and so that started in a whole thing about how taxes are out of control and we're getting no services, and I got screamed at for 5 minutes. And you know what, I'm used to that, but at the same time, it's the only time I mean about this for,
Yeah.
okay? Seriously, I mean,
You're available.
Well, and 90% of the comments probably weren't factual. I mean, just the idea of the blanket statement, we're not getting any services. Well,
Yeah.
any means
It's open.
none.
literally a
Sheriff
claim
will
was
come
made
you.
that there wasn't a blade on that road for the
I
last 12
can,
months.
yeah.
Brian,
I
you
find that
can eat.
incredibly hard to believe, because the
Right.
road goes all the way from 200 to.
Brian, he'll go home.
We eating?
Yeah,
Yeah. Dan, you eating?
Yeah, we have to
You
find
eat?
out.
He has to eat.
Huh?
if the new
6 times a
cafe
day.
is-
What's that?
We have to find out if the new cafe is all that and then some.
do we,
Yeah. I've had breakfast twice, it's not bad.
where are we at on the schedule, or do we start over or what?
I can pay. We're gonna start over. Spencer.
We are at the top of the order, and I will tell you, I made a mistake. We do have, so you can't do anything with this, but Warren Strand has agreed to be on the zoning board to represent the city of Fresno.
Yeah.
I approved that today, but I would, so that's my
We'll
fault.
do it next time.
Yeah, Janet
And
texted me
we
this
don't
morning.
have anybody in a hurry yet, but I'm pretty confident we can get somebody there.
Okay,
Right at noon. Look at that. What?
good job.
We adjourned right at noon.
Oh, okay, I see.
I'll pick that up next month then.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.